O kia ora e hoa, haere mai, come and join me. Has anybody in your family ever said to you, you don't know how lucky you are, when something bad's happened or you've hurt yourself? Well, that's what happens in this book. And you see the phrase, you don't know how lucky you are, all through the book. Maybe you could help me say that. You don't know how lucky you are. Well, this story is by Belinda O'Keefe, and it's illustrated by Ross Kinnaird. And if you're nice and comfy, ready for a story, maybe you can help read along with me. When I fell off my scooter and grazed my knee, Great Uncle Arthur said, you don't know how lucky you are. When I was your age, I fell off my go-kart. I rolled down a steep hill all the way to the bottom. I broke my elbow. I grazed both knees and lost a fingernail. Crikey! Look at the pictures. This is Great Uncle Arthur racing down the hill on his go-kart when he was a kid. When I stubbed my toe on the doorstep, Great Uncle Arthur said, you don't know how lucky you are. When I was your age, I was walking on the beach when a giant crab as big as a ship nipped my big toe. He ripped it clean off. Crikey! When I grumbled about having to unload the dishwasher, Great Uncle Arthur said, oh, you don't know how lucky you are. When I was your age, we didn't have a dishwasher. I had 14 brothers and sisters, and every day I had to hand wash 8 stacks of dishes that were 4 meters high. That's up past the ceiling. Crikey! When I refused to eat Brussels sprouts, Great Uncle Arthur said, oh, you don't know how lucky you are. When I was your age, I had to stay at the table until I'd finished everything on my plate. The food was terrible. The beef was so tough you could tear your teeth out with one bite. Once, I sat at the table for 3 days before I could get down. Poor Uncle Arthur. When I grizzled about cleaning the loo, Great Uncle Arthur said, say it with me, you don't know how lucky you are. When I was your age, we didn't have a proper loo. We had a long drop miles from the house. It was full of spiders and rats. A grumpy possum lived on the roof. We didn't even have toilet paper. In those days, we used newspaper, if we were lucky. Crikey! And on the newspaper, a story about a man on the moon. When I got chickenpox, Great Uncle Arthur said, you don't know how lucky you are. When I was your age, I had a very bad case of itchy spottyitis pox, far worse than chickenpox. I was covered in so many spots I could play dot to dot on myself for weeks. What's he drawn? A sad face. When we went camping and the tent started to leak, Great Uncle Arthur said, you don't know how lucky you are. When I was your age, I was camping in the middle of a storm. There was thunder, lightning, and gale force winds. But that wasn't the worst part. An angry bull charged through the tent. My pajamas got hooked on a tent peg and I was dragged behind the bull, all the way to the edge of a cliff. Crikey! When a bumblebee stung me on the ear, Great Uncle Arthur said, "You don't know how lucky you are." When I was your age, I was caught up in a great battle. I dodged flying fireballs and speedy spears. But then I was hit with an arrow and lost the tip of my ear. The doctor spent hours stitching it back on. One day, Great Uncle Arthur caught a cold and lost his voice. I baked him a get-well cake. The kitchen was a mega mess. I'd dropped the entire carton of eggs on the floor. The flour bag had exploded. I'd forgotten to add the baking powder. The dog ran through the kitchen and trailed the mess through the house. I didn't put the timer on, so the cake was burnt to a crisp. Then my sisters ate all of the icing before I had a chance to put it on the cake. Oh no! I looked at Great Uncle Arthur and said, "You don't know how lucky you are." Look at that cake. Oh, look at Uncle Arthur. And that's the end of the story. Oh, Great Uncle Arthur had been through some horrific scrapes, hadn't he? Do you think he might have been exaggerating? I think he might have too. But it made for a very fun story. If you want to find out more about this book, you can visit oratia.co.nz and go and see if you've got this book in your local library. So many bright colours. And see if you've got somebody in your family that says, "Oh, you don't know how lucky you are." And come and visit me again soon, my friend. I've got another very cool story for us next. Ka kite.